the man convicted of Tshegofatso Pule's murder will continue his testimony in the Johannesburg High Court today. Muzikayise Malephane confessed to killing the pregnant woman 2 years ago. Yesterday, he was questioned about the details of the murder plot and Ntuthuko Shoba's role. Linda Mnisi is our reporter on this story. He joins us live from outside court. Linda, good morning to you. Very interesting details coming out yesterday from the confessed killer, Muzikayise Malephane, who says he hadn't received the money that he had been contracted to take the life of Tshegofatso Pule. But interesting details about why the alleged mastermind actually wanted for Tshegofatso Pule to be killed, and it had to do with some trust fund money. Give us more details around that.
Yeah, you'll remember the big question, Pule, around this particular murder was why exactly she was killed. And if Muzikayise Malephane says the mastermind in this case is Ntuthuko Shoba, why would he have wanted Tshegofatso Pule dead? He takes the court through, the conversations that happened when Muzikayise arrived at his home, saying that, at his girlfriend's house rather, saying that they had that particular conversation, and he asked him, why are you not speaking to Miss Pule, because Miss Pule is your girlfriend? And he says, well, he's tried to speak to her to do an abortion, but she's just not budging. And then, of course, the question around why could he have chosen him? And he says, Ntuthuko told him that he's been to a local taxi rank and road report, and they were not willing to assist him. And that is why he came to him. But of course, later on in that testimony, he speaks about this trust fund that Ntuthuko Shoba's wife allegedly received, which amounts to 8 million rand. You'll remember there was, of course, speculation right at the beginning of this case, particularly during the time when Tshegofatso Pule had just been murdered, around, monies that were promised to each other, the 70,000 rand, the issue around the wife having received the money. But we're hearing of the details today. But I'm joined now, Pule, by the uncle of Tshegofatso Pule, Dumisang, who'll give us a sense of what he's making of all these revelations in court. I want us to start talking about the issue around the money. We heard, it was speculation during the time when she had just been murdered, that the wife had in fact received some lump sum, and Ntuthuko did not want to lose this money. It comes out from Muzikayise yesterday in court. But what do you make of that?
Honestly, I'm still confused. You would rather have somebody's child be killed because of your greed. You don't want to lose your money. You don't want to lose your wife. Now it brings me to the next question as to whether did he really love his wife, or did he really love the money that his wife had? If indeed that fact is the truth. But it doesn't matter whether it was 10 million, 20 million, Mr. Mnisi. They could still have spared Tshegofatso's life. To me, it's very easy. If that's how much he stands to lose, he could have simply denied the pregnancy. That's all.
And let's talk about the inconsistencies. I mean, he's been questioned about his statements, the statement that he made to the police upon his arrest, and the plea. And he says in the first statement that he made to the police, that particular statement contains the lies. Do you believe, as a family, are you believing his version of events, given the fact that he constantly has to change his story? I mean, if you think about the issue around the friendship, he said Ntuthuko was his friend, but when he was cross-examined now, he says, maybe I put it wrong. Maybe he is indeed an acquaintance, given the time we had last seen each other and the nature of our relationship. Do you believe everything he's saying?
Mr. Mnisi, I'll be honest with you. At this point in time, I don't really care what type of relationship Mr. Malephane and Mr. Shoba had. All I know, the consistency around what the family wanted to hear is the killing of Tshegofatso. That's all that's been consistent right now. As to whether they were friends or acquaintances, for me, it's neither here or there. All we wanted to know was the fact that why did he kill Tshegofatso and who ordered the kill. And as far as the family is concerned, that's what has been consistent in court.
So you believe the truth is coming out?
Yes, it is coming out. We are starting to piece everything together. Even though I don't think at this point in time we are at that stage where we can simply say the truth has finally come out. Let's just wait until the trial is over, and then we would be in a position to tell the public as to what we think of this whole thing. But up to this point, the puzzle is being pieced together. There are some missing pieces of the puzzle, and then let's just wait until the trial is over.
All right, there you have it. That's Dumisang Katake. He is Tshegofatso Pule's uncle, revealing to us that in fact at this point the truth is indeed coming out. The puzzles, the pieces of the puzzles, Poli, are indeed coming together, but of course promising us that at a later stage then they will be able to reveal the details of what exactly they make of this case. We understand that cross-examination will continue today. Muzikayise facing tough questions, and one of the big things that will come out of his testimony is whether or not he is a credible source and whether the state will be able to link Ntuthuko Shoba to this particular crime. Because if you look at also another thing that came out yesterday, the issue around the cell phones, which is in dispute. There's one number that is said to belong to Ntuthuko Shoba that is in dispute, but the state bringing out evidence that in fact this is the same number that contacted Pule about buying clothes at Cresta Mall, but the very same number at Cresta the following day, the day of the buying of the clothes, called Muzikayise, who was in Mfulo. So we're expecting them to hear how these, this piece of this big puzzle will come together later on.
Interesting details indeed. Linda Mnisi, thank you very much for that update.